I bet you did not expect to hear this voice coming to this channel today, ladies and gentlemen, but I am here, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between, welcome to yet another episode of your new favorite podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. I know I've been gone for a long time. We've been dealing, we've been doing, we have been seeing. Okay, but we are back. We have conquered, or rather, we are still conquering. Okay, let's just say we're still conquering. And I think we're gonna get into it on an episode of Introvert Chronicles tomorrow. So, you know what? Actually, let me just do the proper format. Why don't you do your girl a favor, right? And what is it again? I forget. Oh my goodness, I haven't done this in so long. Like, I'm literally forgetting the basics. Oh my days, this is so embarrassing. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please, could you go to your homepage, you click that follow or subscribe button on whatever app or website you are using to listen to this podcast episode right now. And of course, click the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop an episode. When you're done with that, why don't you go over to the homepage for Introvert Chronicles on, again, whatever app or website you are using to listen to the podcast, and make sure you click that follow or subscribe button, as well as the notification bell to be notified about the episode that is coming tomorrow and all subsequent episodes after that. So, again, your girl has been struggling, your girl has been going through it, but she's here. Okay, she is ready and she is back. So please bear with me. I have not done this in a long time. I've been out of practice. I do not know. Maybe this episode is going to sound a little bit weird. It's going to sound, just like, what is she doing? Like, what the hell is she actually doing? But we're here. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be doing the things that we need to do. Okay, so please bear with me. But, of course, as you can see from the title of the episode, we are going to be doing a very nice, very interesting little breakdown of documentary series that I watched during my hiatus. Okay, I'm going to be going back in time in my recollection box in my mind, just kind of like seeing all of the beautiful shows that I watched, and I was like, why did I not write these down? I literally thought about it just now. I was like, why didn't I write these down to be like, I need to tell the people, honestly, I didn't think I was going to come back, but I'm here. I have managed to curtail the thing that had my attentions this entire time, but I'm here. Okay, I'm here. I need to learn better management of just life in general, of my time and everything. I think it got a little bit too much, and I was like, I'll come back to it. I think I disappeared from here in about, is it April or May or June? I think it was May. I think I disappeared in May, and I was like, I'm gonna come back in June, and then I didn't. And I said I'm gonna come back in July, and then I didn't. And then I said I want to come back in August, and I didn't. So we're almost at the end of September, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just do an impromptu episode. I do not know if we're gonna release an episode next week. I really want to, and I think it would be good to get back into routine, because I have seen your guys' emails, I've seen your guys' Instagram DMs, I've seen your guys' messages. Thank you so much for reaching out, each and every one of you. I promise we will release episodes on a regular. I don't know if it'll be every week anymore, maybe it'll be every 2 weeks, but then every episode will have maybe 1, 2, or 3 shows that we're getting into, just kind of like finding our feet again, and then we'll go back into regular uploads every other week. So let us dive right into it. Okay, so again, if you want to know why the girl disappeared, make sure to tune in tomorrow on the Introvert Chronicles podcast. So today, documentary series that we're going to be talking about is, I'm just searching it really quickly, American Murder, The Family Next Door. Again, disclaimer, this is not going to be for everybody. Of course, sensitive viewers need to be advised that this is going to be very gory. There's a lot happening here, so if you are listening to this and you have a little one at home, if you have cousins, nieces, your own child, if you have a neighbor that is coming to stay with you, if you're babysitting, if you're doing anything and there's sensitive viewers, please be advised that discretion, okay, is very much advised when you're watching this show. It it broke me, I think, is the best way to say it. But I loved how it was told. I loved everything about it. So we're going to get into that immediately. So the show is American Murder. And the episode of American Murder that we're going to be talking about today is The Family Next Door. Now, if you guys remember, American Murder, American Manhunt, those type of things, it's kind of like a series, an ongoing series that's happening with all of these different people and stories that are unique. So if you remember, a couple months back, we did the case of Lacey Peterson, or is it the disappearance or the murder of Lacey Peterson? And then that was American Murder. And then for American Manhunt, we did O.J. Simpson, and we also did Osama bin Laden, right? If you remember. So yeah, this one is American Murder, and it is The Family Next Door, right? It was released in 2020. It is a documentary / thriller, and it is 1 hour and 22 minutes. So if you're looking for something to watch on a Friday night with the boo, or with the girl, with the friends, anybody, just alone, you're chilling, you're like, let me just switch on Netflix and see what's happening, make sure to tune in to this specific show. Okay, let's look at the overview. It's a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb and an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. It shows on Netflix, obviously. The overview, it says, American Murder, The Family Next Door is an American true crime documentary filmed and directed by Jenny Popwell. It was released on the 30th of September in 2020. And yeah, you're just going to see a whole lot of different things on here. You're going to see Reddit, you're going to see YouTube, others have Instagram links, and we're going to also have Twitter links as well as to the reception and of course the discussion based around this specific show. Unfortunately, it is based on a true story. IMDb reviewers describe it as a gripping psychological thriller that explores the life of a notorious serial killer. Directed by Matthew Gentile, the film offers a unique and thought-provoking perspective into the mind of a murderer. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it, and then I'll tell you guys my thoughts, as always, after we do that. So again, of course, I read the first part of it. But yeah, really, really interesting show. So it was directed by Jenny Popwell, produced by James Marsh, edited by Simon Barker. Music is by Nanita Desai. The production company is Knuckle Buckle Glory. Distributed by Netflix. Released on September 30th in 2020. The running time is 82 minutes. The country of origin is the United States, and the language is English. So the film tells the story of the 2018 Watts family murders, which took place in Frederick, Colorado. It uses archival footage, including social media posts, law enforcement recordings, text messages, and home video footage to depict the events that occurred. So basically there is... Man, I mean, I really would love to get into the mind of somebody who, brings certain stories to Netflix and then how they put it all together. It's like often really beautiful. Like I've always said this, if you guys are regulars on the channel, Netflix really knows how to make like a documentary. Oftentimes it's sensationalized, because we need to see the drama, right? But like they really, really, really know how to make a docu-series that like grips you. Because I think every single documentary that I've probably told you guys about has been available on Netflix, if not HBO, right? HBO knows how to make a miniseries, but Netflix, documentary galore over here. But yeah, so the film plays out in a found footage mystery structure, not revealing until the middle that Chris Watts killed his family. His interviews are interspersed, I think that's how you say this word, interspersed with interviews and quotations from family and friends. Chris's shocked mistress, who had believed that Chris and Shannon were separated, and text messages copied from Shannon's cell phone in which she confided in a friend that Chris had not had sex with her for 5 weeks straight. So the film also explores various public theories behind why Chris committed the murders. Shannon, who was prolific on social media and constantly recorded her children in cell phone videos, was said by 2 featured radio hosts to be a narcissist and a B word. Okay, unfortunately, this is a family-friendly channel, so we're not going to say that word. Obsessed with her phone. This is counteracted by the Ruzek family, i.e. Shannon's parents and brother, who complain that the public has repeatedly bullied and defiled them using digital technology to spread rumors since the murders. Chris Watts, for his part, does not indicate that Shannon's constant cell phone usage bothered him, instead suggesting that Shannon was physically abusive to him and the children. The film later reveals that this was false allegations, and by the ending scene pastes together the events leading up to the murders with no solid answer as to what Chris's motives were. It also reveals that Chris buried Shannon in a shallow grave at his workplace, which is an oil field, and that after killing both of his daughters, he stuffed their bodies into 20-foot high oil tanks on the property. Now, this is going to be difficult to talk about for real. I remember watching this on a Friday, and I started it like randomly. I think I just saw it and I was like, let me just watch it and see what's going on. And yeah, I did not expect this. I think of I don't know, I seem of most of the true crime mysteries that I've watched, they didn't feel like this. I think it being so personal, from like home videos and like from people that knew her, from seeing her on the screen so much, and how much she seemed to love her children, how much she seemed to love him as well. It seemed cruel. Like this guy was, oh my goodness, he was so cruel about it. Like obviously it was premeditated, right? He said it wasn't, but it was, because he wanted to leave his wife. He told his mistress that he was going to leave his wife. But you know what, let's start from the beginning, because I do not want to confuse y'all, right? So let's set the scene for the people, right? We've got Shannon and we've got Chris. They meet, when do they meet? Oh, I'm mixing it up with this other documentary series that I watched. Y'all, we're gonna have so much fun on this channel, I swear. Anyway, so they meet, they get married. It's a really beautiful little love story that they have. They have their daughters. It's a really great family life, right? And then Shannon, obviously, she's always documenting these little videos. She's always making, like, you know, something. I guess what you could call it is a video library, right? Where she just has all these videos of the kids growing up, doing random things, the first walking of the first one, and the second one as well. And then we've got little trips that they took to different theme parks, to different places, how the kids reacted. Then they took a trip to his parents' house, and that was also documented, and so on and so forth. Like, she was just taking videos of everything, I guess, to sort of always catch little moments in order to show her family, Chris himself when he wasn't around, and I guess to show the girls later on in life when they were no longer around. And it was really just a beautiful thing. Like, looking at it, you could tell that she was a genuinely great mom who loved her kids. I mean, it did seem a little bit like too much, but I mean, she thought it was okay, and everybody around her thought it was okay, so it was fine. Like, it like any mother would do that. My mom like has so many different pictures of me as a baby as well, so I think it's just like, oh, you know, she was just doing it to show them when they were older, like, hey, this is what you looked like when you were a baby. And Chris was sort of always like, well, you know, he was like most of the time like out of the videos, and like, he just didn't really vibe with that whole thing. They were a couple where he was engaged with the children and he was having fun. Like, he was genuinely happy in those videos, and they were happy in their marriage as well. And then we get to this trip where he takes they take a trip, Shannon and the girls take a trip to go to a different state to see her parents. They visited for, I believe it was 6 weeks. They went first, and then Chris was going to come afterwards when he got time off of work. And that's kind of where everything started to go wrong, because I believe she was murdered on her, like, the day that she came back from that trip. And yeah, it just kind of is a story from that day onwards, right? Because I think she came back and she was pregnant with a baby, and you know, she just was feeling very unloved, unwanted, unappreciated, like, at the time. And Chris was really kind of just like, ugh, you know, I'm not really gonna, you know, like, this is not, I'm not about this life somehow. And yeah, she would be texting her friend, and her friend would be like, no, it's not like that. Like, maybe just do this, maybe just do that. Like, maybe he's just tired. You know, why don't we try different ways of how to, like, you know, I don't know, make him feel attracted to you again, and so on and so forth, as girlfriends do. But a lot of people, I think, even like the atmosphere at the beginning of the thing, it was very off, you know, like, I mean, okay, so we start off, they're in the garage, a friend is calling, banging on the door saying, listen, my friend is, like, I've called my friend, I dropped her off in the morning, it's now like 11, she hasn't woken up, she hasn't gone to pick up the kids, she hasn't taken them to school, she hasn't done anything, like, that's very unlike my friend, please, can we see what's going on? She just calls the police come by, they're like, listen, we don't have any probable cause to go into the home, we have to wait for the homeowner to come in, who would be Chris, and he has to let us in order for this to be legal. Right, so they call Chris, and they're like, Chris, come by, bro. He comes by, he's very lackadaisical, like, he's sort of in a trance, right? He doesn't seem all that agitated by the fact that his wife, his pregnant wife, by the way, is not around, and that his daughters are also not around as well. So that was obviously the first red flag for me at the beginning of the documentary. But then I kind of just put it down, because I'm like, you know what, maybe he just didn't, like, you know, because at the time, I didn't know that he was the one that did these monstrous things, obviously, and I'm spoiling for you guys, I do apologize, but I think I need to, in order for you guys not to be as heartbroken as I was when I watched this show. But yeah, so he opens the door for them, very calm, like, very sedated, like, it was almost like he didn't feel anything, like, he wasn't agitated, he wasn't scared, he was just numb, like, he was very, very numb. It was scary to see, because that is not the reaction of a man who does not have an idea of where his entire family is. Like, he does not know where his daughters are, he does not know where his pregnant wife is, he does not know anything, but he's fine. Like, it's literally like he went to go and get a beer. I'm pretty sure that's where he was coming from when, you know, they called him. Anyway, he goes into the house, and the cops, they said that they noticed a very, very strong smell of bleach, which is obviously a red flag, but they didn't say anything, because, you know, maybe somebody cleaned, maybe somebody did something, but it was pretty strong, and the house was, like, very, like, put together. Like, it did not indicate at all that there were children living there. Like, there were no toys around, there was nothing. They would, like, the couch cushions were very pristine. It was like there was nobody there, and there hadn't been anybody there for a couple of hours. So those obviously set off red flags to the police, because they were like, what's happening? And then they find Shannon's phone, and then now Chris starts panicking, like, oh my god, she never leaves out her phone, what's happening, like, and then when they open the phone, they find like 20,000 messages from Chris, like, where are you, I'm looking for you, where are the girls, please come home, I'm sorry, please, like, don't be mad, and I guess this was him trying to paint a picture of what kind of a monster, quote unquote, she was, right? So okay, now Shannon's missing. It's now been a couple of days. And they're like, you know, obviously from the true crime point of view, somebody who's missing for more than 48 hours, it turns from a rescue to a recovery like very quickly. So excuse me. I'm suffering, or rather recovering from a cold, so it's gonna be a little bit sniffly. I do apologize for that. I'm also using a mic, so if the sounds are enhanced, I do apologize as well. But yeah, where was I? Oh yes, yeah, they found her phone. There were text messages there. It was a lot, and then obviously rescue, recovery, all of that, whatever. Anyway, then they go back to the videos on social media. This is Facebook, Instagram, all of these things, to kind of look at where Shannon was, where she may have gone, everything. Because, of course, she was very efficient in documenting everything. So she might have documented where she went with the girls. She may have documented anything that could have been of any significance to help find them, right? Because her car was there, her phone was there. Chris says she never leaves without her phone, and there's no reason for her to be without the car, so it was kind of suspicious, you know. I think they suspected foul play like very early on, right? But they never said anything. Anyway, fast forward, right? I'm not going to go into specific details because, of course, I want you guys to watch it, right? But fast forward, we now get to the point where it's pretty clear Shannon and the babies, they're not coming home, unfortunately. And now it's time for Chris to tell the truth about, you know, what happened. All the evidence is pointing to foul play, and he is the primary suspect. You know, he's very much involved. Obviously, anytime something happens to somebody, the first person that they look at is often the spouse. And if not the spouse, they often look at the family, because 90% of the time, it's often somebody that the victim knew, or the victims knew. Anyway, he starts telling the police. He says she was abusive. You know, she was very overwhelming. She was overbearing, whatever. This is after they realized that he was having an affair with somebody, right? And he told this woman that he was having an affair with that, you know, he was leaving his wife and they were separated. He was only there for the children. Like, you know, the typical cheating husband script, basically. Like, I don't love her anymore. I'm going to be with you. We're going to get married, whatever. And unfortunately, she was also very much like documenting everything. So you could tell like he seemed to love her more now, and it was around the time that he stopped paying attention to Shannon, who was very pregnant with their baby, by the way. And it was like, man, it was so cruel. And I think, again, all of the things that we talk about here are like, every single person who commits these crimes is a cruel, sadistic human being. But I think because we're so far removed from actually knowing these people personally, it doesn't seem, or it doesn't affect you as much to be like, this man is actually really much a douchebag. You know what I'm saying? Like he's really a liar. But when you see like the actual family of these people who were murdered, it's not just pictures, it's not just whatever. Like, you see them foolproof. It's disgusting. I swear. I was so distraught when I watched it. Like, it took me a couple of days to get back to being myself. It really, really, really broke me. But yeah, where were we again? Oh, right. So they found the woman he was having an affair with. Again, guys, I'm sorry that this is all over the place. Like, very far removed from this. I really wanted to get this out today, because I'm like, I need to get back into this routine. But yeah. So they found the woman he was having an affair with. She obviously was very cooperative with the police. She told them everything. She said, listen, this was him. This is my boyfriend. Whatever. Very much like in tune with the whole Lacey Peterson thing. Very much like this guy was having an affair. He didn't love his wife anymore. And he felt like he needed to get out without doing anything. Anyway, we get to that. He said, yeah, he wanted to leave her. Yada. Now we get to the day when it happened. So obviously Shanna's coming back from this trip, right? Everybody's sleeping. She comes in at like 2 a.m. Her friend, the one who was looking for her, dropped her off at their house, directly at their house. There's video from the door cam of her coming in, and then she never comes out again. So according to what the police said, right? Because this is from video camera. This is the idea that they had, right? Because Chris obviously lied through his teeth to them. But what they said happened is that she got in at 2 a.m. and they were sleeping, whatever. The girls were also sleeping, and then they started to have an argument, right? Because obviously Chris was not going to touch her, and she felt like she needed him to touch her, to do the husband and wife things, right? And then they got into an argument. I'm assuming she was like pretty hormonal, and she just was emotional, and she was like, listen, I don't understand why you don't want to do this, because obviously this has been happening for weeks, and she was probably just fed up at this point to be like, nigga, why you not touching me? Like, I'm your wife, bro. What's happening? Like, just tell me the truth. Is there someone else? Do you want to leave? What's happening? And it turned violent. According to him, he said that she swung at him first with a brick, and there was no bricks around. And then obviously he said that he had to swing back in order for him to, for it to be self-defense. They never found any murder weapon. Anyway, he swung at her, and then she laid face down on the bed. I'm assuming she was unconscious at that point, if not already dead. Then the little girls came in, and they were like, what happened to mom? And, he's not telling them anything. He's just like, no, mom was just taking a little nap. She'll be fine. So, this is where it gets... Oh, I have to breathe through this. Like, damn. So then he puts his pregnant wife in the car, who he has killed. A blunt force trauma to the head. And he also strangled her as well. Yeah, so she was gone. He puts her in the car. Then he takes his little girls, and he puts them in the car. Mind you, he had a rental it was not his car. He used a rental car, a bigger car, but it was sort of like his car. It looked like his car, basically. And he takes them to this oil field that he works at, because he was a refiner. So he basically takes them there, and then he buries his wife in a shallow grave. They don't know whether or not she was alive, but they found her very decomposed. So I think she either died on impact or she died within the shallow grave. But either she was unconscious, so she didn't even know what was happening. It was like, it was a lot. Anyway, not anyway, but you get what I mean. At this point, the little girls are screaming. They're like, what did you do to mom? What did you do to mom? Like, why would you do that to mom? And apparently he takes them, and he basically secures them with seatbelts and stuff in the car. And then he takes the first one, kicking and screaming. Oh, the little girl was kicking and screaming. And he drowns her in the refinery oil tank. Yeah, and the little girl saw, the youngest saw what her father did to her mother and her older sister, and she's just like, Dad, no, like, stop. And you can only imagine, like, the pain that she experienced at that point, probably not even knowing that this was her last day, but just seeing what the man that she loved, her hero, was doing to her family. And then he took her, and he drowned her as well in the refinery tank. And it took him a long time, a very long time, to tell the truth about what he did. I mean, when they found Shannon, she was decomposing. So that takes a couple weeks. So he wasted all that time, all those police resources for his pregnant, by the way. She was about to pop with their next baby. His very pregnant wife, he killed her in front of his children. And then he killed his children as well, pretending like he was a single man. And it really brings, like, to center the type of selfishness in the world. I'm not even just going to say men, because there have been female serial killers that have done even more atrocious things. I think next week I'm going to tell you guys about this other lady who I watched again from Netflix. They need to sponsor me, man. I be putting people on to Netflix, like for real. You know, I know right now we're all trying to get Disney Plus and like HBO, like Showmax, all of those things, like Apple TV type subscriptions. You feel what I'm saying? But like Netflix and documentaries, bro, crazy. But yeah, it really showed like the selfishness of this man. It showed how far he was willing to go to get what he wanted. He just wanted to be free of them. Like, he married this woman. He had a family with this. I mean, she gave him a family. She gave him a home. And he was just tired of it. Like, he wanted to go somewhere else. And I think to myself often, I'm like, if you're in a marriage with somebody, obviously she's pregnant or whatever, right? And you feel like she's not gonna like ration with you properly. Why kill her? Like, you could have disappeared in the middle of the night and then send a letter or something to be like, I can't do this anymore, right? Like, why would you have to take her life? And then why take your children's life as well? Like, these are your children. Your own children, not someone else's children. Your own children. Your seed. This is your legacy that you are destroying. Over what? Exactly. Because he never told the truth. To this day, he still says he never did it. He said Shannon's the one who killed the girls. He came up with this like nonsensical story about how she strangled the girls and how she like put pillows over their heads to suffocate them and like whatever, and he killed her out of rage of him doing that. But that's not what happened, because if he did, then why would he not bury them in shallow graves next to Shannon? Why would he have to put them in an oil refinery where it said that they died on impact? Like, why would he need to lie like that? He wasted all of those police resources, all of them. The police were running around trying to find different things. They were even mad at Shannon because they were like, why would she do that to her own children? And then it came full circle when it's like, they told him, they were like, listen, bro. Right, obviously not listen, bro, but I'm doing it like for it to be relatable. They're like, listen, bro, we know what you did. You're not getting out of this, bro. Just tell us the truth. What happened? And he was like, I need to talk to my dad. So they bring dad in. They leave the room. They leave the audio running. They leave the thing running. Everything is running. And that's when he confesses to his dad that he killed Shannon, because he says, allegedly, that Shannon killed the kids. So he flew into a fit of rage, which would obviously make sense, right? Because if you came home and you found your children dead, you would fly into a fit of rage. But why kill her? Why not just give her up to the authorities? Why not wait for justice to take its course? Right? So he said he killed her because of that, and then he took the girls and he put them in the wine refinery, and he was going to come back and get them later. Nonsense. Pure lies. I don't know who he thought was going to believe that. His own father was like, he definitely killed those. He definitely killed them. So now it was a matter of where he put them, because they weren't in the home. He killed Shannon at home, and there was no blood. I don't know why there was a smell of bleach, but there was no blood because he just strangled her. But yeah, he took them to that place, and he buried them there. His family. Chris Watts murdered his pregnant wife and his children, his 2 little girls under the age of 10. And he buried them there at his workplace because he knew nobody else would go there. So now the question was, is it premeditated, right? Because again, he never actually confessed to doing anything. So all of the conspiracies, everything is kind of up to the public, right? There's a group of people that believe that it was definitely Shannon's fault. There's a group of people that believe that she was abusive, that she was overbearing as a wife, that she was overwhelming, and that he must have felt that there was no actual way for him to escape this marriage, this person, this family without killing her. There's a group of people that believe that, you know, because unfortunately, the video evidence and the text messages and everything do show a side of her that is unfavorable, which I think is wrong as well, because why would you speak so ill of somebody who was dead? I mean, at the end of the day, right, whether she killed the babies or whatever, that we don't know that. What we do know is that he confessed to murdering Shannon. So whatever else people think about how she was, like, I don't think that anybody deserves to die at the hands of somebody that they love just because they were abusive. I don't think that at all. I think we need to let people, like, we need to let justice do its thing. I know sometimes it's like the justice system, but why would you put yourself in a place where you can now go to jail because of someone else's, actions against you all this time? Like, I know everybody gets to a breaking point. We have battered wife syndrome. We have all of these other things. And it's like, man, I still have a lot of thoughts about that. But there are people out there still who believe, because I read the Twitter, I read the Reddit. There are still people out there who believe that Shannon did murder those little girls. And that he did fly into a fit of rage because of that, right? Which would make perfect sense. But there's evidence that shows that this did not happen. Unfortunately, there's literally evidence that shows that it didn't happen. When your own father and mother don't believe your story, you already know that you're a psychotic killer. And he is a serial killer because he murdered 4 actually, including his baby. Because the baby, I think she was like 6 months along, so that was definitely a baby in there. And he murdered the mother, and he murdered the baby as well. I think it was another little girl. So he murdered 4 women. Really, really disgusting. And yeah, I think I've always had a fear of men. I've always often been wary of them and their actions and like their words and stuff. I've often but I think that one it brought me full circle. I was like, wow. So even if you have the fairy tale and you have the husband and the family and you're good, right? You're just a mother who's taking videos of everything because you want your family to know how much they meant to you in the future. When you're no longer around, you want your children to have something to look back on, to see memories. You want you want to build family traditions. Maybe your children could do this with their children and so on and so forth. And even then, you're not allowed to do that because your husband is going to call you overbearing and overwhelming. And there are some people online that are still going to believe that you did this or that you drove this man to do this, even though his selfishness, his wanting to be with his mistress, his wanting to break his family, to not take responsibility for his actions brought you there. There's still going to be people out there that blame you for doing this. And I think because of the things that were going on at that time, I was really scared of just like everything. It took a lot for me to get out of that. I realized quite early on in that documentary that I was definitely an empath because I felt there was just something off, man, about my spirit. I didn't feel great at all. I did not feel great. But I will say though that it definitely captivated me, and that's the reason why I wanted to even talk about this in the first place. It's a terrible story, really, really bad story, but I think the way that the documentary itself was made was genius. I think that a lot of documentaries should be made like that in the future, because documentaries, I think, are especially about murder and true crime and all of these things, they're often so far removed from the actual like horrendousness, if that's a word, of the crime. Like we often just hear like Shannon Sharp was murdered. No, I'm sorry. No. Let's not even do that. Let's just say Shannon Batowski, right? I'm so sorry if there's a Shannon Batowski out there. I really am. But let's just say Shannon Batowski was murdered by this and this and this. And then we have forensic officials. We have like officials coming in and talking about the specific thing, but not actually the family. You don't actually get to see Shannon. Shannon is not a person. She's a concept. She's an idea. I think this particular documentary made Shannon a person. not a concept, not an idea, not a statistic, not just somebody, not a name. It was very personal because you could see her. You could see that she loved her family. She was not just a picture on a wall. She wasn't just a case number. She was an actual person who was living and breathing and was done absolutely dirty. I mean, if there's ever, I don't understand. It just feels wrong to even say that she was done dirty. She was murdered by her husband. She was pregnant and she was murdered by her husband, and her kids were murdered afterwards. So you can even tell, as a mother, she, in her dying moments, what did she even think? It was, I swear, if you watch this, it's going to change you. It's going to change your perspective on a lot of different things. But it's a beautiful documentary. I will say that. Netflix does know how to make a documentary. This is probably one of the most beautiful documentaries from Netflix I think I've ever watched. If not the most beautiful, because every other documentary that I've watched, and you guys can obviously tell me if there are others that do not, that feel more human, because most of the ones that I've watched have always not felt human. This one felt human to me. The human aspect was very much there, and it wasn't even anybody narrating. It wasn't anyone telling a story. It was her. They took her social media posts and they made that into a documentary. So the literal intent of why she made these videos, it came full circle to the world. It's a beautiful, beautiful documentary. I really, really enjoyed it. I don't even know why it's a 7.5. I think, for me, it was definitely a 9. It was 150% a 9. I think they told the story quite beautifully. There are obviously things that they could have changed, but I'm not a documentarian, so I can't say exactly what. I just felt like it just needed something, you could always tell, something just needs something, even a movie, movies need just a little bit of something, man, not everything, but just a little bit of something. But it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot, and I think that I feel really great about telling you guys about it as well, because it changed me, I won't lie, but it was really good. And I think that as an episode of coming back, I think that's probably my favorite one. So I hope you guys watch it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I will come back, I think, for the next couple of weeks. We're going to be doing documentaries, because I did watch a lot, and I still have a lot that I need to watch and talk about as well. But I'm really happy with how that one came out. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please, for the last time, if you've gotten to the end of the video, of the episode, thank you so very much for listening. My name is Lee, your hostess with the mostess, coming to you with the mission of bringing all the couch potatoes and introverts missions to light. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think that you are probably excited to get into some of this and to further the cause of the introverts and the couch potatoes, then make sure to do just very simple things. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified whenever we drop an episode on both here and on Introvert Chronicles. Make sure to go and follow us on Instagram. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Make sure to follow us on Pinterest. Make sure to follow us on Reddit. Make sure to follow us every single where that you go. I know I'm often talking about Bigo. I'm not there this week. I'm just taking a little bit of a break. I wanted to get my mind right, so I'm not doing any streams currently. But of course, if you would like to have a conversation with me over there, then make sure to download Bigo and go to my Instagram. I have a link over there about how to download the app. You can download it from there, and it'll immediately take you to my profile, which is Custard AI. And we can talk over there, and we can have some fun, we can laugh, we can talk about anything, do anything, literally anything at all. You can get to meet some of my amazing friends that I've made on the app as well, and we can just have a little bit of a powwow. And of course, if you want to make a generous donation, then you can send an email and we can talk about that as well. But ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have come to the end of the episode. I do hope to see you guys next week yet again. I'll be coming with another documentary, of course. And yeah, enjoy your Friday. Be aware, be vigilant, and always listen to your gut feeling. It'll get you out of a lot of situations. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Internet Chronicles crowd. Love, love, love. Bye.